Day 2 of working on the fence project. I worked for about 4 hours the other day. So here we still have to go around here, and that'll be my gate over there. Just got to bring that roll of wire around the back here. This is what I've done so far. The best part I've done so far is actually get the posts in the ground. I'm pretty happy with that. I discovered that we do have a sledgehammer in the shed, and so I got the sledgehammer, and that allowed Emmy to be able to step aside and not be involved anymore. There's a part of me that's saying, you know, this is not going to last. It's going to be a waste of time. And so that makes it hard, but if you don't try, you never know. All right, well, coming to the last 2 posts, and then I've got to try and manufacture a gate for that space there. Got to work that one out. But along the way, particularly today, actually, I've figured out a few things. Now, I don't know if I figured out things that are incredibly obvious, or whether they're stupid. There's been some things that have helped me get this last piece finished a little bit faster than what I was working on the weekend. So, number 1 is the end of the wire is incredibly difficult to find every time I cut a piece of wire. And I've discovered if I stick it in the ground, it's easy to find. Secondly, one of the things that's really frustrated me, haven't been able to effectively work it out. I figure that if you're actually doing this professionally, you have some kind of mechanism, stretch the fence tight. But if I do this, if I take a screwdriver, and I'm probably better off doing it from the other side, actually. And for that last little bit, just use one of these holes for a bit of tension while I'm getting that's the goal, is to stretch it out a little bit like that. It doesn't do a lot, but it does give me a little bit. But anyway, so here's, I think, probably the biggest thing I've learned. I was cutting about this long, because that's about all you need for the thing. But what I discovered was, it makes it very tedious to do the winding. I was trying to save wire. You know what? I don't think I need to save wire. So what I've decided is about 3 times that size. It gives me purchase on the wire when I'm folding it. And so that is actually makes it a lot easier. If you just get a little bit of tension there, don't even have, there we go. And I stick my knee against that, I can actually hold a little bit tighter. But I think it's better than what it was. I also discovered that I had been way too conservative in the number of posts I put in. I thought I could do it in about 10 because I counted them out. But anytime you have a section that's longer than about 2 or 3 meters, 3 meters probably, there's just way too much slack in the wire. I'm just trying to wrap these around so that it's not sticking out. All right, so now I'll do this again on the bottom. See that the gap between the two wires. If I stick a wire through here and a wire through here and tie it off there, is that better than a wire through here and a wire through there, and so only tying it off against one? I'm thinking 2 is better. I don't know. But maybe someone can tell me what they think. All right, that's the second last one. Moving up to the last one here. I think I've got enough wire here to finish the job. I said to Emmy when we bought the wire, I think I need about 50 meters. And they sold in 30-meter bundles, so we got 60 meters. And I think I went a little bit further out than when I first measured it. It's looking like it's exactly right. I love that little clip when it cuts it through. When it happens silently, I get a little bit disappointed. It's one of those noises, you know, that I don't know, what's that thing where they have all the different noises that you listen to, and it's supposed to do something for your emotions. I have no idea. I've seen it on YouTube a couple of times, not a lot. But you know, all the people have put together these little videos with all different sorts of noises in it. It's supposed to move you emotionally because they're good noises. Maybe you can tell me what that's called. But I think it's one of those things where you snip it and it goes, and it just makes you feel good. There we are. And stick it in the ground. There we go. So that's the other thing with doing the longer pieces of wire. When I was first doing this, I found it really hard to grab that wire through the fence. It's just so obvious. Longer piece of wire is just so much more able to be manipulated, and is a lot easier. I wanted to be conservative, save a bit of wire. All right, last one of the chook fence. You're not Australian, you may not have heard that term before, but somehow in our history, we have found it much more convenient to call chickens chooks. I have to keep reminding myself to not call them chooks if I'm communicating to people that aren't Australian, or educate them. Look at these mozzies. I don't know if you can see them, but there's just swarming en masse. Biting. Not happy about that. All right, let's move this out of the road. I'm going to snip this fence off and then see if I can make a gate. I'll come down this one and wrap that around. I might even tie that off, actually, if I can. So what I think I'll try and do with the gate is make this the fixed end. If making a gate, I put a second post in anyway. So I have been thinking I'll put a post here and a post there, and then loop it here and here, and then have one loop down that end that you can lift off over the top and swing it out. And tie that off. So what I've got to do is then tie that there and that there. Okay. I'll put this here. If I line it up, then that's going to be the closest to actually parallel, right? I don't feel that dumb about that. That seems like that's probably right. Now, well, there it is. So let's have a quick run around. Then we go up through here. And gorgeous. The coolness in here is amazing. Look at the little buttress roots on this one. That's beautiful, isn't it? How amazing. I love this space. This morning is his first day in his new arrangement. He's going to take me through the fence. No filters, just farm.